the summer of 2019, and I was vacationing with my friends on a secluded beach in Maine. We had rented a cozy cabin right by the shore, where the only sounds were the waves crashing and the seagulls crying. It felt like the perfect escape from our hectic lives. But that illusion shattered on the second night. We were gathered around a bonfire, roasting marshmallows and telling ghost stories, when a strange figure appeared on the beach. He was tall and gaunt, with wild hair and clothes drenched as if he had just emerged from the ocean. At first, we thought he was a drunk wanderer, but as he approached, we noticed his vacant, almost lifeless eyes.
"Help me!"
He croaked, his voice barely above a whisper.
"I can't find my wife."
We exchanged uneasy glances, but feeling a sense of responsibility, we decided to help. Armed with flashlights, we followed him down the beach. The man kept mumbling about a storm and how his wife was swept away by a rogue wave. As we walked, the atmosphere grew colder, and the sound of the waves became eerily louder. Suddenly, he stopped and pointed to the ocean.
"There!"
He shouted, his voice now filled with panic. We all squinted into the darkness, but saw nothing. He ran into the water, disappearing beneath the waves. We waited, calling out for him, but there was no response. The ocean had swallowed him whole. We reported the incident to the local authorities the next morning, but their reaction left us even more unsettled. The sheriff listened to our story with a grave expression and then shared a chilling revelation.
10 years ago, a man and his wife drowned on this very beach during a storm. Their bodies were never found.
We left the beach that day, but the image of the drowning man still haunts my dreams. Sometimes, I wake up to the sound of his voice, calling for help from beneath the waves. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend getaway with my partner, Emma. We had found a picturesque beach in the Caribbean, far from the usual tourist traps. The sand was pure white, and the water was a crystal clear blue. It felt like paradise, but paradise soon turned into a nightmare. On our first night, as we were lying on the beach under the stars, we heard whispers. At first, I thought it was the wind, but the whispers grew louder and more distinct. They seemed to be coming from the sand itself. Emma and I looked at each other, trying to make sense of it.
"Did you hear that?"
She asked, her voice trembling. "Yeah," I replied, feeling a chill run down my spine. "Let's head back to the hotel." But as we stood up, the whispers intensified. They formed words, phrases that sounded like warnings.
"Leave, before it's too late."
The curse. We rushed back to our hotel room, but sleep eluded us. The whispers followed us, echoing in our minds. The next day, we asked the hotel staff about it, but they dismissed our concerns, claiming it was just our imagination. However, one of the older staff members pulled us aside later and told us an old legend about the beach.
"Many years ago,
She began.
a tribe lived here, and they were known for their mystical practices. They cursed this land when they were driven away by invaders. The whispers you hear are the voices of their spirits, warning those who dare to stay."
We tried to enjoy the rest of our trip, but the whispers never stopped. They grew more urgent, more insistent. On our last night, we decided to confront whatever was haunting us. We returned to the beach and shouted into the darkness, demanding the whispers to reveal themselves. The sand began to shift and move, forming a ghostly figure. It spoke in a hollow, echoing voice, repeating the same warning.
"Leave, before it's too late."
We didn't wait to find out what would happen if we stayed. We packed our bags and left immediately, cutting our trip short. To this day, I can still hear those whispers in my nightmares, reminding me of the cursed beach and its eerie warning. It was during a family vacation in the Outer Banks, North Carolina, that I found the shell. My son, Ethan, and I were walking along the beach, collecting shells for his school project. Among the usual clams and conches, I spotted a peculiar shell half buried in the sand. It was larger than the others, with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as I looked at them. Look at this one, Ethan, I called out. He ran over, his eyes wide with excitement.
Wow, that's amazing. Dad, can I keep it?
Of course, I said, handing it to him. Little did I know that shell would bring us nothing but terror. That night, Ethan complained of a strange humming noise coming from the shell. I brushed it off as his imagination, but then I heard it too. A low, rhythmic hum that seemed to resonate through the air. We put the shell in the living room, hoping it would stop, but the noise persisted, growing louder and more menacing. The next morning, we woke to find strange symbols etched into the walls of our beach house. They matched the patterns on the shell, and no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't wash them off. Ethan started having nightmares about a shadowy figure calling to him from the ocean, begging him to return the shell. Desperate for answers, I took the shell to a local historian, who turned pale when he saw it.
This is a cursed shell.
He explained.
Legend has it that it belonged to a vengeful sea spirit. Those who possess it are doomed unless they return it to the ocean where it belongs.
With growing dread, we returned to the beach that evening. The sea was eerily calm, and the sky was painted with shades of orange and red. Ethan and I waded into the water, holding the shell. As soon as we submerged it, the water around us began to churn violently. A ghostly figure rose from the depths, its eyes glowing with malevolent fury. It reached out towards us, and I thought we were doomed. But just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished, leaving the sea calm once more. We scrambled back to the shore, our hearts pounding with terror. We left the Outer Banks the next day, and I swore never to return. Ethan still has nightmares about the sea spirit, and sometimes I think I can hear that haunting hum in the dead of night. The cursed shell may be gone, but its memory lingers, a reminder of the horrors we faced on that fateful beach.